Hi, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Proud to live in the greatest country in the world. Unfiltered opinions, no PC discussion here. Agree, disagree, hate it, love it, it's all good. Sit back and enjoy some unfiltered commentary. We discuss politics, culture, interviews, and more. Your comments are always welcome. Please help the channel by hitting that subscribe button. Doesn't cost a thing. And as always, thanks for your support. Hi folks, welcome back to Crisco's Corner. Just the news. I saw a short video on YouTube from Project Veritas where they had the call from Zucker that James O'Keefe interrupted right in the middle of it. It was awesome. It was really cool to see live. And it's about 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to look after I do this video to look on YouTube to see what the first release is. And I guess what's been going on is James O'Keefe and Project Veritas is a whistleblower. And I guess they have a 9 a.m. every morning Zucker who runs CNN, for those of you who don't know. And what they're going to talk about and what they're going to do and how devious and how they take direction from the Democrat Party and how they're just anti-Trump no matter what, which doesn't make them a very good news organization. Now, AT&T is in the process of putting them up for sale. So I'm sure CNN's worth right now is plummeting. And AT&T cannot be too happy, but they got nobody to blame but themselves. Let's read the story here. Project Veritas claims has been secretly recording CNN's Jeff Zucker executive calls. We've been listening to your calls for basically 2 months, which is weird because if I'm not mistaken, Zucker was also the head of NBC when President Trump was on The Apprentice and made NBC tons of money. Interesting how things change. Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe on Tuesday claimed that for months he has eavesdropped on and recorded CNN President Jeff Zucker's executive daily meetings. In a posted video on his social media accounts, and one I saw was on YouTube, O'Keefe said that an insider gave him access to calls, unmuted the 9 a.m. conference call, and confronted Zucker. Apparently, the person gave him access to the calls, and he muted, of course, the phone and recorded them. And then this, remember, I saw the video, it was great. Hey, Jeff Zucker, how are you there? O'Keefe said, this is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months. Recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. There was a bunch of guys at a conference call. I would have paid money to see how the looks on their face, and I would have paid even more money that after the call was over, their reactions and what they said. If you still feel the most trusted name in news, because I have to say from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. If you've got a lot of recordings that indicate that you're not really an independent of a journalist. Zucker seemed surprised. How do you think? Says, thank you for your comments. How articulate. Caught him completely off guard. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system, and we'll be back. We'll do the rest of the call a little bit later. O'Keefe then tells Zucker he plans to release the recordings at 7 p.m. They're probably already on his YouTube channel because it's 7:30 Eastern Standard Time here. A request for comment from CNN went unanswered. Oh, what a shocker. Oh, gosh. So you just heard me talk to the president of CNN, Jeff Zucker, and informed him that we're going to release a number of recordings today, O'Keefe said right after Zucker signed off. I unmuted myself into the conference line, and they're still on there. They're listening to me right now. This is being live streamed for those of you still on call. And we've recorded for a while. We have clips of various producers talking, the president talking, describing their motives, describing their political philosophy, describing how they don't cover certain things in certain political parties. Great newsmen. Great newsmen. We think it's important for the American people to know how you make how the sausage is made, continued O'Keefe, known for his style of undercover reporting. And it's important that we hold accountable the mainstream media. The media has to be held to account. They are hurting the American people with their lies, their innuendo, their slander, defamation, their hyperbole. I think Mr. Zucker is shaking his boots right now. I think he's very afraid of my becoming. And I know, good for you, James. Good for you. It's funny. They always get at OKeefe. He's a little arrogant sometimes. I gotta admit that. But he's got a lot to be arrogant about, frankly. That he only goes after liberal, progressives, leftists, that kind of thing. All right, that's fair. But how much of a criticism is that? Do we have any undercover reporters that are doing undercover work with conservative people? See a lot of them around? Well, no, they don't need it because they own or control 80 to 90% of the media in this country, and that includes cable news and social media. You don't need any undercover work to expose. And first of all, I know Republicans aren't perfect, but they're no nearly as evil and dirty as the other side. I'm sorry. They're not. And I look forward to this. And if I know anything about OKeefe, he's done in the past, he'll put these audio tapes out in drips and drabs and just milk it for all it's worth. It's going to be fun. It really is. I hope they have a couple of smoking guns in there. I have no doubt. And I wish this could have been done before the election, but there must have been a reason why I wasn't released prior to that. But anyway, this is going to be great. And good for you, James. And we're going to see what happens. And on a side note, if you see here, Attorney General Barr has appointed John Durham special counsel to probe origins of Russia collusion investigation. How long has that been going on? I don't know. And, of course, if things look like they're going the way they're going, on January 20th, we're going to have a different attorney general. So how far will it go? Is anybody that's guilty going to go to jail? Probably not. And that's the way it is. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect world. But I will say one thing, and President Trump has said it over and over. What they did to him in the spying, illegal, I might add, false testimony to a secret FISA court, which I always hated from the beginning in the Patriot Act, and even back then when I was a Democrat, I said this is nonsense. I don't like secret courts. It's not a good idea. What they did and the media did to a sitting U.S. president has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Can never, ever, ever happen again. I wouldn't even like it if 90% of the media turned on Joe Biden. There's a lot to turn on, believe me. I would think that was ridiculous as well. It's unbelievable what's happened to the media in the last 4 years. Some say Donald Trump destroyed the mainstream media. I think he just brought out what they really are. And he pulled the curtain away to show that these guys aren't real newsmen. Now, I'm old enough to remember Walter Cronkite and Brinkley and all them. Yeah, they were lefties, but they at least gave the appearance or went through the motions of being unbiased. And they reported on both sides fairly equally, a lot better than today. And people that watched them back then knew they were a little left, and they put that in consideration as they were watching them. And in fact, Walter Cronkite was considered the most trustworthy people in the United States as far as news and personally. And those days are gone, I'm afraid. Well, maybe someday they'll come back. We'll see. Anyway, folks, there it is. And in fact, right after this video, I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to check out what the first audio tape is. It's going to be great. Anyway, folks, until next time, goodbye and good luck.